Hill Mansion stood silently at the edge of Blackstone Valley, a place where winds always howled louder and the night always seemed darker than anywhere else. People said the mansion had been empty for nearly 40 years, ever since the wealthy but mysterious Aldridge family vanished one stormy night without a trace. They left behind no explanation, only a decaying structure, surrounded by twisted trees, broken windows, and stories whispered fearfully by villagers after sunset. The legend said that whoever entered the mansion after midnight would hear strange footsteps following them, and sometimes, if they were truly unlucky, they would see her, the ghostly woman in a tattered white gown who wandered the halls searching for something she could never find. Most people stayed far away from Hill Mansion, but curiosity has a dangerous way of pulling the young and brave toward the things they should fear the most. And so one cold October evening, Arham, a 17-year-old boy fascinated by supernatural mysteries, convinced his two friends, Mina and Kashif, to explore the mansion with him. The giant iron gates groaned open as they pushed through, and the moment the trio stepped inside the boundary, the air grew heavier, colder, as if the mansion itself was exhaling over them. The house loomed under a cloudy moon, its cracked walls crawling with vines and its windows like dark, empty eyes watching every step they took. When Aram placed his hand on the massive front door, it swung open on its own, releasing a breath of stale air that smelled like dust, wet wood, and something far older. Mina shivered. Kashif wanted to turn back, but Aram was determined. They entered the huge foyer, where a grand chandelier hung, crookedly, and shattered mirror pieces reflected distorted versions of their faces. Every sound they made echoed unnaturally, as if the house wasn't just repeating their footsteps, but answering them. As they explored deeper, the floorboards creaked under their feet, and the wallpaper peeled like rotting skin. A long corridor stretched ahead of them, lined with portraits of the Aldridge family, faces that looked alive in the candlelit gloom. Their eyes seemed to follow the group as they passed. Suddenly, Mina gasped when one portrait of a woman with long, black hair and a gentle smile appeared to have tears of blood dripping from her eyes. Before anyone could react, a faint whisper drifted through the corridor, soft but chilling, like a voice drowned in sorrow. "Leave, before she wakes." Kashif dropped his flashlight, shaking, but Aram insisted it was just the wind. They continued reluctantly, moving toward the old ballroom where the Aldridge family was last seen alive. The ballroom was enormous, with tall windows, covered in dust and cracked floors, that once echoed with music and laughter. Now it was silent, until the sound of a piano note echoed through the room, though the piano stood untouched. Mina grabbed Aram's arm, pointing toward the balcony above. There, standing in the shadows, was a woman in a torn white gown. Her hair hung over her face and her head tilted slightly, as if she were listening to a sound only she could hear. The temperature plunged. Their breaths turned white. Slowly, she lifted her face, and the sight froze them. Her eyes were hollow, deep black voids, and her mouth stretched too wide, twisted in a silent scream. She pointed at them with a trembling hand, and the doors of the ballroom slammed shut behind them. The chandelier began shaking violently, as if invisible hands were trying to tear it loose. The piano keys smashed down one by one, playing a terrifying broken melody. The windows cracked loudly. Mina screamed when she felt fingers brush against her hair, though no one was behind her. Kashif shouted for help, but only their echoes answered until the ghostly woman let out a piercing scream that shook the entire mansion. The chandelier fell, crashing just inches from Aram's feet. The woman floated down from the balcony, her gown billowing like smoke, her hair swirling as though caught in a storm. She whispered in a hoarse voice, "You shouldn't have come." She never lets anyone leave. With trembling hands, Aram held up an old locket he had found earlier. On the mansion floor, a locket with the same woman's portrait inside. The ghost froze. Her expression softened, turning from rage to agonizing sorrow. Through the flickering candlelight, her story seemed to unfold around them. She was Evelyn Aldridge, the mother of the family, who died trying to protect her children from a dark presence that had possessed the mansion decades ago. The spirit haunting the house wasn't Evelyn, it was something far worse, something that fed on life, trapping souls inside the walls forever. Evelyn's ghost tried to warn people, tried to stop the entity, but no one believed her cries for help. And now, sensing new victims, the darker spirit awakened. The walls around them began to shake violently. A deep guttural growl echoed through the mansion, and black shadows stretched across the ballroom floor, reaching for their legs like living snakes. Evelyn's ghost screamed, "Run! I will hold it back." The shadows recoiled at her voice, and the three friends sprinted toward the hallway. Doors slammed as they passed. Portraits fell off walls. The staircase collapsed behind them. The house shook like a living creature trying to trap its prey. As they reached the main door, the ground split open slightly and a smoky, monstrous figure rose from the cracks, twisted, shapeless, its red eyes burning like embers. It rushed toward them, but Evelyn's ghost appeared again, blocking its path, glowing brighter and brighter until her light exploded like a small sun. Arham, Mina, and Kashif were thrown outside as the mansion's doors burst open, and a blinding flash lit up the entire valley. They landed on the cold grass, gasping for air. When they looked back, Hill Mansion was engulfed in flames of pale blue light, not normal fire, but ghostly silent fire. The monstrous spirit screamed, trapped in the blaze, and slowly the mansion collapsed into itself, disappearing in a burst of cold wind. When everything settled, only ashes remained and the valley fell silent. As dawn broke, a gentle wind passed through the trees, carrying with it the soft voice of Evelyn Aldridge whispering, "Thank you for setting me free." The three friends walked away, shaken but alive, knowing they had witnessed something no one would ever believe. The legend of Hill Mansion would continue, but the spirit within was finally at peace. Yet deep in the ashes, something still glowed faintly, waiting, watching, whispering, reminding them that not all ghosts can truly be destroyed.